Hello everyone, Magic Wand here with something a little different today. I feel called to provide you all with a spread specifically focused on the question of whether you feel as though you are going through some kind of shift within yourself these days. And I'm going to use this tarot deck called Inner Voice to help to clarify that question. And my intention will be to clarify the nature of the shift, clarify the main challenge for you at this point in the shift, clarify how you can grow as you move through this shift, and finally, how can this shift empower you as you move through it? So it's going to be a 4-card spread, and it's going to evolve as I go through it. But it will begin with a 4-card tarot spread. You can consider this to be a timeless reading for yourself so that anytime you come across the video, the messages conveyed herein could very well have meaning for you at this point in time. And I'll just ask you to use your intuition to discern what resonates and to leave the rest. And as I shuffle, I'll ask Spirit to please guide my hand to help clarify this question regarding this shift that you possibly feel that you're going through at this point in time. And I am going to shuffle and then cut the deck, and then I will draw 4 cards from the deck randomly. So I will cut the deck twice just to make sure it's well shuffled, and I will give it another shuffle here, and I'm just going to pull 4 cards. So this card will be regarding the nature of the shift. And as I mentioned, I'm just this is as you go. So as I go. Oh, this one's wanting to pop actually 2 cards. So this will be the main challenge for you. I would have rather it be like this. Okay. This will be the main challenge. This will be how you can grow through the shift. And then the final card will be regarding what or how can this shift empower you as you move through it, as you grow through this shift. So let's see. Okay, so those are the 4 cards, and let's see what we have revealed for us. So the first card will be in terms of clarifying the nature of the shift. And this is what it is. This is the 9 of Pentacles traditionally, and I'm going to draw some regular Rider-Waite cards to put on top of these so they clarify them, but I really like this deck. It doesn't come with a guidebook, so what you see is what you get on the card. And the nature of the shift for you at this point in time is with regard to the 9 of Pentacles. Okay, so yes. So you've got gratitude, prosperity, and material gain. So your shift is in a very positive direction. And let me just pull the card that corresponds to that in terms of the regular Rider-Waite deck so you can have the imagery of that, because the deck I'm using is definitely non-standard. So let me just get that card for you here. It is the 9 of Pentacles, so you can get a look at it that way there. That helps with it there. Okay. All right. So that is the nature of the shift. So you're moving towards material gain and prosperity, and it involves giving gratitude. So a spirit of thanksgiving will provide um, abundance in your life. So that's part of the shift, which is quite a positive direction, as I mentioned. Now, the second card will be the main challenge for you at this point in time for you, at this point in the shift. So the main challenge is the Eight of Mind, which is corresponds to the Eight of Swords. And I will pull that card up because it'll give you the image associated with this card a little bit more clearly in terms of the significance and the symbology, which is really quite interesting for the challenge position. Now, and it really is significant because, as you can see, the traditional Rider-Waite card shows a woman who is bound with 8 swords surrounding her, and she is blindfolded. So it is suggesting that she can't quite see that she actually has the ability to unbind herself. She isn't threatened in any way, but she feels that she's tied up somehow. But the swords, which represent your thoughts and power as well, because she has the ability to just gently back herself up and cut through those binds behind her. As long as she's careful, she won't cut herself. So once she's loosened the binds and freed her hand, she can undo the blindfold and she can turn herself around and see that her castle isn't far away. So her shelter, her foundation, her prosperity is really just over there, not far away at all. So, but there is a challenge in doing that. Now, this card elaborates, I guess, more on the specifics of the challenge. So you may feel disempowered, isolated, and it is to do with your mind. So it is within your mind. And in reality, you aren't really disempowered and you aren't really isolated because, as you can see in this card, she isn't isolated because she has her castle just not very far off in the background there, and she can just return home, no problem at all, to her security, which would be a more peaceful state of mind, and knowing within her she has the ability to move forward in the direction that she wants. And that is with regard to this forward motion towards material gain and prosperity. And this is the key, is as you forgive yourself, you also forgive others with ease, so that if you're bound by say blaming others for being stuck, perhaps release that blame, and that will empower you. It'll take away the disempowerment and it will make you feel more empowered. So that is the main challenge for you right now, is regaining your power, basically, which is somewhat self-imposed. And it's self-imposed because of a certain mindset or a certain habit of thinking. So but you have the ability to change your thinking and release your binds so that you have the freedom to use creative thinking to continue to move forward through this shift in your life right now. Now, the third position here is how can you grow and move through this shift? And this is the Five of Pentacles. So that's quite interesting. So it's almost as if you're still kind of stuck here in the feeling of disempowerment and feeling disadvantaged and insecure. And the message on this card is, I relinquish my concerns to spirit within. So let's look at the traditional Rider-Waite card for this. It's the card where they're kind of trudging through in front of a church and they're downcast. I'm just describing it, but I'll pull it up here. And but the message in the card is to look up, because right where they are, they have spiritual guidance at hand, and it's right there, right by just to look up a little bit, and they'll see there's help. And in this regard, it is, let me just give you a better look at the card here, as you can see. It is to do with looking within, so finding your power from within. And if you look back here, if you're looking within, it's to do with your thinking. So you can regain your power and grow through this shift and towards prosperity as well. So there's that connection here with the shift. It is a movement towards prosperity, and I definitely see movement, positive movement, but there are challenges. So this challenge again is to look up or look within yourself. In the card here, it would be to look up and see that there's help here for these people. Look within. And when we tie it to here, it has to do with your thoughts. And perhaps ask yourself, you could journal even, how can I forgive myself and others? Or perhaps release blame, or release the notion that it is outside external factors that are binding you. You are being asked to remember that you have the power within you to move forward and grow through this challenge to make steps towards the prosperity that you're looking for. Okay. So the next card, which is this one, is how will this shift, or how can this shift empower you as you move through it? And here we have the Six of Cups in the traditional Rider-Waite, and it is to do, the messages, to view the world with childlike wonder. And this will create a sense of renewal, and there may be a sense of nostalgia, but you can at this present moment recall or connect to your child within and gently nudge it towards what it would like to do to have fun. Nothing too serious, but something uplifting for yourself. And let me pull this card in terms of the traditional Rider-Waite card. Let's see, that is the Six of Cups. So, and this is where you will find empowerment and growth, is letting go of the feeling of being bound and disempowered and disadvantaged simply by, for a few moments even, it'll give you a boost. Maybe taking your journal and writing down things that your inner child would find fun and uplifting. It can be anything, really. It's just use your imagination, and whatever gives you that sense of, happiness, excitement, no matter what it is, just write it down and focus on that. And you can tie it back to the nature of this shift within yourself that is moving you towards a more prosperous life. So the nature of the shift in terms of this spread today and the message today is you are moving from perhaps a sense or position of disempowerment and disadvantage towards a position of feeling more empowered, and definitely moving towards a future of prosperity. And it does look bright. It does look very promising. And you have the power to control your future and your destiny. Okay, so what I thought I would do to just wrap up is pull an oracle card here from the Angelic Vibrations Oracle deck by Josephine Wall, and see what type of overview we can have for the sense of moving through this shift in your life at this point in time. And let's just give it a one card pull just to see what message the angels may have for you to help guide you on your way and move through this shift. And this is the card that wanted to come through here, and we have balance. Wow, what a beautiful card. Okay, so the balance card, this gives you a sense of, in terms of the overall energy, it's providing a sense that when you, perhaps you've been out of balance in terms of your feelings, of feeling bound and disempowered. And now to bring the balance back, you can look at the child within you and give it license to use your imagination. Let the child within you imagine the essence of prosperity that you would like to bring into your life in a fun way, in a creative way that literally brings you a sense of excitement and joy and possibility, because you have the power within you to accomplish these things. You absolutely do. And let me just read from the guidebook for this card here. I'll just put it here. And here we have it. Okay, so I'm just to get a sense of what this card provides in terms of its message. And I'm just going to read it here. Let me move these cards over so we can have it in the picture right here. Okay, and there we have it. Okay, so this card, I'm just going to read this real quick. It is balance. The message is true strength lies in your center. And I believe this is the whole message coming through for you today. And it reads, how wonderful it would be if we were always well balanced, if nothing and no one could upset us, if we could live our daily lives effortlessly without ever losing our equilibrium. This seems almost impossible, yet the equipoise of the angelic beings is encouraging. This state of being does seem to exist. As a first step, you could tackle those topics that particularly jump out at you. Maybe in the coming weeks, you'll be able to work with your quick temper, or are you someone who is offended too easily? Everyone has their own issues to work on. If we are honest with ourselves, we will get to know ourselves better, and at some point we will manage to become like angels after all. Well, that's a really positive message, but it does underscore that there are challenges in this shift. And as I mentioned, they are to do with perhaps the way you are thinking about your situation or the shift, and perhaps looking downcast and not looking at the positive side of this shift in terms of using your imagination to create a future for you that has prosperity and material gain. Okay, so that was the reading for today in terms of trying to clarify a shift that you may be going through at this point in your life. And I hope it did provide some clarity for you. And I would really love to hear your thoughts on if this served to help you in any way. And I would be really grateful to hear that. So if you did enjoy this reading today, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel, Magic Wand. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care and have a great day. Bye for now.